America's most dangerous national parks. America's national parks are known for their breathtaking beauty and natural wonder. But beyond the scenic trails and postcard views lies a darker truth. Some of these landscapes can kill. This is Fierce, and today we're exploring the most dangerous national parks in America, where the wild doesn't just thrive, it fights back. Hit like and subscribe. This is Fierce. Number 1. Grand Canyon National Park, Arizona. It's one of the most iconic landscapes on Earth, a colossal scar in the desert stretching 277 miles long, 18 miles wide, and over a mile deep. The Grand Canyon isn't just a sight, it's a force. But beneath its beauty lies a deadly reality. Each year, millions of visitors flock to its rims, peering over railings, hiking into its belly, and snapping selfies on precarious ledges. But not all of them leave. On average, 12 people die in Grand Canyon National Park each year, and hundreds more require rescue. It's not just the terrain. It's a cocktail of overconfidence, heat, altitude, and underestimation. Temperatures at the rim can be cool and breezy, but descend just a few thousand feet, and the heat becomes oppressive. In the inner canyon, temperatures regularly exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius in summer. Add dehydration, physical exertion, and thin desert air, and your body can shut down fast. Many hikers begin their descent energized and unaware, only to realize too late that climbing back up is twice as difficult. For some, the canyon becomes a trap. But it's not just the heat or exhaustion that kills. The cliffs are the real killers. Loose gravel, narrow paths, sudden gusts of wind. One misstep, one selfie taken an inch too far, and it's over. Some falls happen within feet of safety rails. Others occur when hikers wander off marked trails for a better view. In recent years, several high-profile deaths made headlines, visitors tumbling hundreds of feet while trying to capture that perfect Instagram shot. The canyon doesn't forgive mistakes. It doesn't give second chances. And if the elements don't get you, the wildlife might. Wildlife hazards in the Grand Canyon. Mountain lions. These apex predators are masters of stealth, rarely seen but always watching. Hikers have reported the eerie feeling of being followed, only to turn and see nothing. Mountain lions are ambush hunters, and while attacks are extremely rare, when they do strike, they go for the neck. Rattlesnakes. They blend perfectly into the canyon floor, lying still among rocks, sunning themselves on trails. Step too close, and you'll hear the unmistakable warning, the rapid rattle that means you're already too late. A bite can cause severe tissue damage, and help may be hours away. Coyotes. Though not typically dangerous to adults, coyotes have become bolder, especially around campsites. Conditioned by careless tourists who feed them, these scavengers can grow aggressive. In rare cases, small pets or children are at risk, and in packs, coyotes are unpredictable. The Grand Canyon is not just a place of awe, it's a place of extremes. It can take your breath away and take your life just as quickly, because in the canyon, nature reigns, and the edge is always closer than you think. Number 2, Yosemite National Park, California. Granite cliffs that scrape the sky, waterfalls that thunder like freight trains, ancient forests where time stands still. Yosemite is nature's cathedral, carved by glaciers, crowned by stone, and soaked in raw beauty. But it's also a place where tragedy comes without warning. Millions of people visit Yosemite each year, drawn by its world-famous landmarks. But many underestimate what this park truly is. Not a playground, but a wilderness cathedral that demands respect. Among the towering cliffs and postcard views lie some of the most treacherous trails in the country. Take Half Dome, for instance, a 14 to 16-mile round-trip hike that includes a final climb up slick granite using anchored cables. On dry days, it's grueling. On wet ones, deadly. One slip and you can plummet hundreds of feet, often in full view of others who can do nothing to help. Then there's El Capitan, the towering vertical wall that attracts elite rock climbers from around the globe. Climbers fall, ropes fail. Even base jumpers with years of experience have perished against its sheer stone face. But one of the park's darkest days came in 2011, when 3 hikers, young, vibrant, and full of life, decided to ignore a warning sign near Vernal Fall. They climbed over the barrier, waded into the water for a photo, and were swept over the 317-foot drop in front of dozens of horrified witnesses. Their bodies weren't recovered for weeks. What was meant to be a memory became a cautionary tale. Wildlife hazards in Yosemite: black bears. Yosemite's bears are not afraid of humans, and that's the danger. Over decades, these intelligent animals have learned to break into cars, raid backpacks, and associate people with food. A surprised bear in close quarters can charge. Some have been known to follow hikers for miles. Campsites become battlegrounds when food isn't secured. And when a bear gets too bold, rangers are forced to put it down. Mountain lions? These elusive predators rarely show themselves, but they see you. In Yosemite's higher elevations and remote trails, mountain lions silently patrol. They stalk. They wait. Attacks on humans are rare, but when they happen, they're sudden and brutal. Experts say never hike alone and never run. Western rattlesnakes. Warming themselves on sun-drenched rocks, these snakes are nearly invisible until it's too late. Their venom can cause intense pain, tissue damage, and even death if untreated. Step off trail or reach beneath a log, and you could become their next lesson in caution. Yosemite may be one of the most beloved parks in America, but it's also one of the most unforgiving. Here, the line between wonder and death is thin. One wrong step, one poor decision, one lapse in judgment, and you're no longer a visitor, you're a statistic. Because in Yosemite, the mountains are always watching, and they never blink. Number 3. Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Tennessee/North Carolina. The Smokies rise like a ghost from the Appalachian foothills, cloaked in perpetual mist, shrouded in mystery, and laced with legends. This is the most visited national park in America. Over 12 million people walk its trails, drive its winding roads, and breathe in its ancient, moss-covered stillness each year. But beneath the beauty of cascading waterfalls and vibrant forests lies something deeper, something darker. Disappearances, deaths, creatures of the wild. The Smoky Mountains are a tangled web of ridgelines and hollows, a labyrinth of switchbacks, dead ends, and places where GPS fails and compasses spin. It's all too easy to vanish, and many have. In 1969, 6-year-old Dennis Martin was playing hide-and-seek with his brother and some friends near Spence Field. He stepped behind a bush, just a few feet, just for a second. He was never seen again. What followed was one of the largest search and rescue operations in U.S. history. Green Berets, helicopters, hundreds of volunteers. They found nothing. No footprints, no clothing, no remains, only silence. His story haunts the park to this day. And Dennis wasn't the only one. Over the years, dozens of hikers have gone missing in the Smokies. Some found weeks later, others never at all. Some say it's the terrain. Others aren't so sure. Wildlife hazards in the Smokies: black bears, the symbol of the Smokies, and one of its biggest threats. These aren't the shy, passive bears you might imagine. In the Great Smokies, bears are opportunists. They've been known to follow hikers, tear open cars, and even break into cabins. In 2020, a woman was killed and partially consumed by a black bear near a campsite. Rangers called it predatory behavior. These animals aren't afraid anymore. They've learned and adapted. Wild boars. Imported decades ago and now feral, wild boars have taken over parts of the park. They're aggressive, territorial, and travel in packs. Weighing up to 300 pounds, these tusked invaders will charge without warning. Hikers have reported being stalked, cornered, even bitten by these relentless animals. Timber rattlesnakes. Perfectly camouflaged among the fallen leaves and forest floor, they strike when disturbed, often too quickly to react. Their venom destroys tissue and causes severe pain. In remote parts of the Smokies, a bite can turn fatal if help doesn't arrive fast. But it's not just the animals, it's the atmosphere. Fog can roll in without warning. Thick, smothering, disorienting. Trails disappear. Sound is swallowed by the trees. In moments like these, even experienced hikers have reported feeling watched, hearing footsteps that don't match their own, voices just out of reach. Whether it's natural or something else, No one can say for sure. The Smokies are old, older than bones, and in their quiet corners, the forest still keeps secrets. Coming up next, Yellowstone, the park that boils, bites, and breaks every rule of survival. Number 4, Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. It's America's first national park, a vast and violent landscape sculpted by fire, ice, and time. But Yellowstone isn't just a park. It's a pressure cooker, a place where boiling earth, territorial beasts, and unforgiving wilderness collide. It's beautiful, it's brutal, and it's dangerous. Each year, millions of tourists are drawn to Yellowstone's geysers, hot springs, and sweeping valleys, unaware that they're stepping into one of the most lethal environments in the country. Let's break it down. Thermal danger. Yellowstone sits atop a supervolcano. The ground itself is alive. Steam vents hiss from cracks in the earth, acidic pools bubble at a constant near boil, and geysers erupt without warning, flinging scalding water and rock into the sky. What looks serene can kill you in seconds. In 2016, a man attempted to soak in a hot spring near Norris Geyser Basin, a prohibited area. He slipped, fell in, and dissolved. Literally. The water was so acidic, no remains were recoverable. There are no fences, no lifeguards. If you stray off the boardwalk, you're on your own, and the park makes no apologies. Wildlife that fights back. Yellowstone is often called the American Serengeti. The animals are majestic and absolutely unforgiving. Red bison. They look slow, lazy, peaceful, but they're not. Bison can weigh over 2,000 pounds, run 35 miles per hour, and turn on a dime. Tourists approach them every year, treating them like zoo exhibits. And every year, people are gored, tossed, and trampled. In 2022, a woman was gored after trying to take a selfie within 10 feet of a bison. The animal threw her 10 feet into the air. Grizzly bears. Yellowstone is one of the last strongholds for grizzlies in the lower 48 states, and they know they rule this land. In 2010, an experienced hiker was attacked and killed by a mother grizzly while jogging near Wapiti Lake Trail. He was carrying bear spray. It didn't help. Grizzlies are fast, territorial, and utterly lethal when surprised, especially near cubs or food caches. Wolves. Reintroduced in the 1990s, Yellowstone's wolves tend to avoid people. But don't mistake that for weakness. These predators are strategic, intelligent, and coordinated. Rangers have documented them shadowing hikers, tracking movements from a distance. One wrong move and the line between observation and predation disappears. Environmental extremes. In Yellowstone, even the landscape is out to get you. Weather turns in an instant. Snow can fall in June. Lightning strikes have killed visitors near exposed lookouts. Cell service? Virtually non-existent in the backcountry. There are canyons where no one will hear you scream. And thermal zones where a single wrong step leads to the most agonizing death imaginable. Add to that altitude sickness, wildfires, and ice-covered trails, and you begin to understand this place was never meant to be tamed. Yellowstone isn't just a national park. It's a raw, untamed wilderness built on instinct, fire, and survival. The signs warn you, the rangers caution you, the scars of past victims tell the tale. And yet every year people ignore them, thinking nature is just a backdrop for Instagram. But Yellowstone doesn't care about your vacation. It doesn't care how far you came or what you expected to see. It only cares that you play by its rules, because here the wild doesn't blink, and it never hesitates. Number 5, Denali National Park, Alaska. Welcome to the last frontier, 6 million acres of unforgiving wilderness, towering peaks, endless tundra, howling wind and silence so deep it feels alive. This is Denali National Park, home to North America's tallest mountain and some of its most deadly terrain. Out here, the margins for error aren't thin, they're non-existent. There are no fences, no paved paths, no room for mistakes. Denali doesn't just test your endurance, it tests your will to survive. The mountain that kills. At the heart of the park stands Denali, once known as Mount McKinley. It rises 20,310 feet above sea level, but the true challenge isn't just its height, it's its isolation. Climbers who tackle Denali face Arctic temperatures, sudden whiteouts, and oxygen-starved air. The ascent can take weeks, and one misstep, One lapse in judgment can turn the mountain against you. Over 100 climbers have died trying to summit. Some vanish into crevasses. Others are crushed by avalanches. And for many, help is simply too far away. On Denali, nature doesn't give you a second chance. Wildlife hazards in Denali, grizzly bears. Denali is prime grizzly country. These bears roam the river corridors and tundra valleys, hunting caribou and foraging for berries. But if you cross their path, especially a mother with cubs, things can go south fast. Grizzlies here are less habituated to humans, making them more reactive, more aggressive, and far more unpredictable. Denali's wolves are elusive but not invisible. In the park's deeper wilderness, they operate like shadows, stalking silently, assessing everything. While attacks on humans are rare, their presence is always felt. Rangers have tracked wolves following hikers for miles, staying just out of view. In Denali, you're not always the one doing the watching. Moose. They don't look like killers, but moose are one of the most dangerous animals in Alaska. During calving season and the fall rut, they become hyper-aggressive. A full-grown bull moose can weigh over 1,400 pounds and charge at 35 miles per hour. People have been gored, trampled, and hospitalized, some fatally, just for getting too close. They may not have claws, but in Denali, moose are not to be underestimated. A land of isolation. Beyond the animals and the mountain, the most dangerous thing in Denali is how truly alone you are. There are no gift shops out here, no cell signal, no rescue within minutes. Weather changes in the blink of an eye. One moment the sky is clear, the next you're trapped in a blizzard with whiteout conditions and no sense of direction. Streams swell unexpectedly, trails vanish, night falls faster than you think. Even experienced backpackers, armed with gear and GPS, have gone missing. Some are found weeks later, some never are. Denali doesn't lure you in with false promises. It makes no effort to hide its danger. This is raw wilderness, pure and untamed, the kind of place that reminds us how fragile we really are. You don't conquer Denali, you survive it. Number 6, Glacier National Park, Montana. Glacier is grizzly country. With over 700 miles of trails, this park is a paradise for hikers and for apex predators. In 1967, 2 women were killed in separate bear attacks on the same night. That tragedy forever changed how humans interact with wildlife. Wildlife hazards. Grizzlies dominate the ecosystem. Black bears are unpredictable scavengers. Mountain lions move silently and strike fast. Number 7. Mount Rainier National Park, Washington. Mount Rainier is beautiful and deadly. Glaciers, crevasses, and unpredictable weather make it one of the most dangerous mountains in the U.S. Over 400 people have died trying to reach the summit, but the wilderness around the peak holds more than ice. Wildlife hazards? Black bears forage close to trails. Cougars stalk the deep woods. Wolverines attack if cornered. Number 8. Sequoia and Kings Canyon, California. Among the towering trees lie hidden threats. Rivers rage with snowmelt, trails vanish in sudden storms. In 2021, a family died from heat stroke on what was supposed to be a short-day hike. Wildlife hazards. Black bears have lost their fear of humans. Mountain lions shadow hikers in silence. Rattlesnakes guard sun-warmed paths. Number 9. Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado. High altitude can turn a casual hike into a deadly struggle. Storms strike fast, lightning kills, and during rutting season, even elk can become aggressive. Wildlife hazards. Mountain lions lurk along the rocky ledges. Black bears scavenge campsites. Bull elk charge without warning. Number 10. Death Valley National Park, California, Nevada. It holds the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth. In summer, heat rises to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Tires melt, engines fail, water vanishes. A single wrong turn can be fatal. Wildlife hazards. Sidewinder rattlesnakes hide beneath sand. Scorpions strike at night. Coyotes stalk in the shadows. These parks are breathtaking, but they demand respect. Each year, hundreds are injured or killed by the very forces they came to admire. And the wilderness does not apologize. So before you enter, ask yourself, are you prepared? Are you aware? Are you ready for what nature truly is? Because in these places, the wild doesn't care who you are. It just is. This is fierce. and the wild is waiting.